Hello, glorious people of YouTube land. My mom is in the chat. What's up, Mom? All right. So, as you can see, it is just me. So, sorry to anyone who was looking to lock eyes on my beautiful wife. She's not feeling too hot today. She's got a bit of a head cold from constantly going in and out of the 100-degree temperatures and then right into, 65-degree air conditioners. So she's got the sniffles and she doesn't want to sound like this on the YouTube. But if she pops in, I'll make sure she pops in and says hello. But thank you guys for logging on and watching my dumbass. Check out these headphones. First time. All right. So there's been a lot happening as far as movies are concerned these days. So I just wanted to, it's been a while since we've done a video. So I just kind of wanted to, talk about some of the stuff that we've been watching. Just give my thoughts on it. And if I can, I'm also going to try and do like a watch along here with you guys where like I'll watch the new Exorcist Believer trailer and the new Saw movie trailer, which honestly, both the trailers are pretty good. And you kind of know what you're going to get from those kind of movies. It's like if you like the Saw movies, you're probably going to like the new one. Granted, I'm kind of like whatever on them. They're kind of like a time capsule for me, It's like it just reminds me of like those late 2008, 2009 times, which is fine. And like I don't hate the movies. They're just, I know what I'm getting from it. I don't expect those movies to be super, super good. It's just going to be like essentially, as they call it, torture porn. But so if you looked at the thumbnail, we were going to be talking about some movies I've watched recently. But to start things off, I just wanted to show, I did get Scream 6. I did end up buying that steelbook just because this is cool as shit. Like, look at that. Probably the coolest trailer or case that I've seen for any of these movies, at least in my opinion. And being from Jersey City and, anytime I have to take the subway or the PATH train, this is sick to me. The movie is whatever. Upon rewatching it, Vicky and I both were kind of like, it's not as good as we remember. We probably had our blinders on, just excited to see a new movie. But yeah, whatever. Still cool. Movie's fine. It was better than the last one, and that's all I have to say about that. All right. Now, let me just pull my phone out. Oh, hello. Uzi, that's a good one. It is a standard subway ride these days, huh? All right. Let me see. Sorry, my phone is out. I have to look at some notes to see what I plan to talk about. So, all right. If you follow the channel or watch any of our videos, I did like kind of a short review of Infinity Pool, which is David Cronenberg's son Brandon's new movie. It is weird as fuck. Just like the rest of his movies. Like I think Possessor is probably the best he's done. Infinity Pool was cool. It's just super bizarre. And I don't want to go too heavy into it because you could just watch my short to understand my feelings on it. It's just like essentially people in this foreign country get put to death for like the most menial crimes. And they just, oh, hey, Matt Collins. Damn, a lot of people watching. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Sorry, I'm a nervous wreck. I don't normally stare at myself like this. It's really bizarre. But because it's been a while, I wanted to get something out there. But to get back to Infinity Pool, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I think my username is ShredNJ. I usually post like in the story, like lengthy, way too wordy reviews of some of this shit. It's just easier for me to like write my feelings on movies than it is to kind of do this. So, but Infinity Pool is kind of cool. If you like really bizarro shit, Brandon Cronenberg's movies are right up your alley. I know Vicky really loved Antiviral when she watched it, his first movie. But let's see, let's get into it. Here we go. All right. So I think it might have actually been Evil. I think it came out Evil Dead Rise, like the same day as Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, yo. Uzi says, get out the magnifying glass. Boy, are you right. Reading some of my shit can be annoying. My grandparents tell me all the time, I can't read it. I'm like, sorry. All right. So this was coming out, I think, the same time as either Evil Dead Rise or Scream 6. Like, that was the same weekend. 65 with Adam Driver. He obviously was like Kylo Ren in the new Star Wars movies, but we'll leave that be. You like him or you hate him. I'm kind of on the fence about them. They're fine. I don't hate them as much as everybody else. But 65 is, the trailer led you to believe it's going to be this guy from like almost outer space or something crash landing on a planet that has dinosaurs on it. Now, what it turns out to be is, yes, he is like an astronaut, and you'd think he's from the future, but he's actually from He burnt you bad on the Dead Don't Die. Hey, dude, I hated that movie. Everyone said it was great. I hated it. But he is an astronaut, and he's carrying a bunch of, I guess, like colonizers, like a bunch of people who are going to like inhabit a different planet or something. But it's not in the future. What you learn when you're watching the movie is that these people existed 65 million years ago. And you never heard about them in like the history books or anything, or whatever you'd want to call it. But he ends up crash landing on Earth 65 million years ago, and he has no idea what's going on. All the passengers are dead, or their bodies get flown off the ship or whatever. And it turns out one of the only survivor actually is this like young teenage girl who he finds her pod, wakes her up, sees what she's doing, and he's trying to figure out a way to get to the escape pod that fell out of the ship on top of this mountain. Now, what was misleading about the trailer is that like you think this whole movie is going to be like almost like a Jurassic Park Adam Driver with like laser guns about to go shoot all these dinosaurs. But dinosaurs are almost like a small part of this movie, which is, I don't know. Trailers mislead us all the time. But so him and this girl who doesn't really talk are just like traversing this land that he doesn't know where anything is. And all the dinosaurs kind of look like alligators. Like, I don't know. The CGI in it is god awful. And, you can say what you want about like the Jurassic Park movies, but they certainly have like spoiled us to like what we as viewers expect dinosaurs to look like. And these they just like look like CGI alligators with little arms. Like, let me just look and see what I said just to make sure I don't forget anything here. So all right. Yeah, so I said the dinosaurs they encounter are all CGI disasters and look more like snub-nosed alligators. There's one cool descent creature. Yes, that is true. There is a moment where like Adam Driver and this girl, while they're walking 15 kilometers in the wilderness up mountains, that they get stuck in a cave. And there's this one dinosaur that's like, it's like albino, like it's lived its whole life. Vicky is in the chat. She is in the other room. And she says, for the record, I liked 65 more than Bill. Yes, she actually really liked it. And I was the only one disappointed in this. But it's like an albino dinosaur. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like The Descent's one of like the more recent scary movies that actually is kind of terrifying, especially if you're kind of claustrophobic. But they have like this tiny little scene where it's attacking Adam Driver and then boom, it's over. It's gone. And yeah, I don't know. That was the most exciting part to me. And then near the end, they do finally get to the escape pod. And there's these two T-Rex, what you want to call T-Rexes, fighting and trying to eat the spaceship and shit. And let's see. That was my main complaint. And please apologize. Please let me apologize. I saw some of these movies like almost a month ago at this point, so I'm probably going to be rambling and not getting to the point like perfectly. All right, so Uzi says, is it supposed to be a horror movie or an adventure action movie? Honestly, the trailer doesn't really tell you what kind of movie it is. I would say it's kind of like supposed to be like a sci-fi action adventure, which like, it's fine. I don't only watch like horror movies or anything like that, but I kind of wanted a little more dino action, if you will. It's more about like Adam Driver being this like pseudo absentee father and now has this chance to take care of this girl who survived the crash and make her survive. But I normally have like a huge complaint with movies these days being too long. This movie is very short. I think it was like even it might have even been shy of 90 minutes, which was exciting to me. I'm like, awesome. But in this movie's case, it was almost like to its detriment. It's like it's so fast paced that they're filling you with so much information and you never like have a chance to fully absorb any of it. You're like, oh, this is 65 million years ago. I thought this was the future and there's just some dinosaur planet. No, it's the past. And you find out Adam Driver left his wife and his daughter on his home planet to go on this mission. I don't know. So let's see. What else do I have to say about this movie? I sound like I hated it. I did not hate it. It's just one of those cases where the trailer made it look like it was going to be so much fun. And I just found myself being like, this kind of sucks. Was it from the makers of Haunt? Interesting. Haunt was great. I actually really liked Haunt. Sorry, my grandparents are texting me. If you're watching this, the chat is in like, to you guys would be like up in this upper corner over here. Just click show chat and you can comment along, just like Uzi's doing right here. It's also written, right? It's like written by the guys who did A Quiet Place. I guess that's kind of where they also got the look of the dinosaurs from, just because like they do kind of remind me of like there's like a campy, if you remember The Lost World, there's like a campy kind of dinosaur. There's there's obviously like the T-Rex. How could you have a dinosaur type movie without a T-Rex these days? A couple like raptor types, but oh, you can pop out that chat. Pop it out. That's exactly right. Listen to the man. I'm new to this live shit, so I'm figuring it out along the way as well. And this is the first time I've ever used headphones. It's kind of crazy. I like only hear myself talk. It is making me really nervous. So if I'm really sweaty, I'm sorry. But anyway, if you like Adam Driver, I think you'll like this movie because it's very like Adam Driver driven. But that's it. Like I like Adam Driver, and I was like, this movie kind of sucks. But I guess that explains why I didn't hear much about it. Like it came and it went. And I actually like thought about seeing it in the theater, but I would have rather see whatever it was, Evil Dead or Scream was coming out. And I was like, that's more up my alley. But out of 10, I gave it a 5.1, which that's not good. So anyway, all right. What else have I watched recently? Let's try to get back to what? All right. This is my grandmother asking me. I have no chat. All right, Nan. If you're watching right now, which you probably are, if you're asking me how you chat along, see my finger? It should be up here, and you should just click it, and a chat will open, and you'll see all the comments that are coming down. But regardless, you can just listen to me ramble if you want. All right. So, and I just watched this one last weekend. This is Old Man, which is by Lucky McKee. If you know the name Lucky McKee, if you know who Lucky McKee is, he directed The Woman, May, both really, really good movies. Like May being this sad, like antisocial girl who like is having trouble making friends, getting boyfriends. So she ends up meeting all these people. And once they get sick of her, she kills them and uses their body parts to make like essentially a human friend that just like sits around her apartment. It's amazing. The Woman is kind of darker. The Woman is about I I guess you could use the word feral, a feral woman who is found in the woods, and this family chains her up and keeps them in her barn, and like the husband ends up like, sexually abusing her and stuff, and then at the end she breaks free and just like wreaks havoc. It's a great movie. But Lucky McKee has had some great movies, May and The Woman for me. But we watched Old Man last weekend, which has been like popping up on sorry, is that me? Just a moment. Oh shit. Okay. Volume's off. Sorry, guys. All right. But Old Man. He did a really great Masters of Horror episode, Sick Girl. He did Sick Girl? No shit. Masters of Horror is great, by the way. I don't remember that one too well. And I have them all on DVD. I do want to crack into them again just because I've seen a lot of other people are about to start doing like streams where they talk about all the episodes. I really only remember the John Carpenter ones and the Argento ones, like Jennifer and what was Carpenter's called? Yes, Vicky is excited about that. Vicky, what was the name of the Carpenter one with Daryl Dixon, Norman Reedus, or whatever? What was that called? Shit. Whatever. It does not matter. See, this is what happens when I'm by myself. I go off on tangents, so apologies. But back on track. All right, we're talking about cigarette burns. Thank you, Vicky. Yes, cigarette burns. That one is so sick. Dear Woman was the Landis one. Yes, that one is pretty good. So Old Man, Lucky McKee's new movie has been just getting. The Takashi Mike one is sick. I heard that they pulled that one like if you watch it on like the Showtime app, it's not there or something. We have it on the DVD. I like double checked to make sure they didn't just like strike it from existence. It is on the DVD set if you ever got your hands on that. But Old Man, it's been like kind of getting suggested on like, I think it was Hulu, had like a big thing for Old Man. And my buddy Dave was like, hey, did you check out Old Man? And usually when like my buddy Dave asked me to like check shit out, I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it eventually. But Old Man, like once I knew it was Lucky McKee and Stephen Lang from the Don't Breathe movies, I was like, oh, sick. This could be pretty good. And it's okay. Not as good as May and The Woman. So Old Man is basically, there's this older gentleman who we see wake up in this cabin, and he's clearly by himself. This old guy. He's kind of like eccentric, almost senile to a degree. And all of a sudden, someone knocks on his door, and it's, it could be a salesman, could be just like some random run-of-the-mill guy off the street who is lost. He invites him in, and he starts like, hey, you want to hear some stories? And starts telling him some really crazy out there stories. Holds like a shotgun up to him and is like, you're not a salesman, are you? And like essentially just tries to like scare him. And like, I don't know, you as the viewer are led to believe that, this old man is fucked in the head. Like he is nuts. And it essentially just turns into this old man telling this young guy these really crazy interactions he's had with like people who have come to his cabin. It's very, very long and dialogue heavy, almost boring. But like I wanted to stick it out just because of Lucky McKee. Like I like this guy's movies. It's got to be good. Stephen Lang, who you might remember from the Don't Breathe movies, the blind guy, he is getting so goddamn good at playing like old senile men who like you don't know what the fuck is going on. Like he's got a couple monologues in Old Man that are legitimately just terrifying, just like his mannerisms and shit. And you're like, dude, this guy is psychotic. Like, get the hell out of there. Like he's talking to this young kid who's lost in the woods. And like this young kid, I think any normal person would have just, fuck the shotgun, just booked it out the front door. Like this guy's crazy and he's probably going to eat me or poison me, But anyway, the movie just goes on. Like an hour and a half goes on before you even have any idea like where it's going to go. Like the guy like is taking a shit in the corner of his apartment, like taking a piss in this little hole. And spoiler alert, like if you want to watch this movie, just be prepared to sit and not a lot happen. But spoiler alert, cut out now, or at least just don't listen to this part. The reason you want to watch this movie is for the reveal, which is like the last 10 minutes. You find out that these people that Stephen Lang has been talking to this whole time are just figments of his senile old brain from living alone for so long. The kid he's talking to the whole movie, turns out that it was him when he was like in his 20s. Oh, I just spit all over my fucking laptop. Sorry. So in his mind, he's just talking to these imaginary people, not imaginary, but younger versions of himself this whole time. And he, at one point, he's talking to a salesman who turns out to be, when he was that age, that in the 20s, caught his wife cheating on him with this salesman. So that's why he has these visions of this salesman, because when he found his wife cheating on him, he walked in and blew the dude's brains out and killed his wife, which is why he ran away to the woods and is living in this cabin. So he's just like, he unintentionally like kind of broke himself. So now he's just like this crazy old man living in the woods. I made it sound way worse than I thought it was. It's like a great character study about like, you know, the fragileness of the human mind. Like, as much as like I like spend a lot of time at home, like, I mean, look at me right now. I'm like sitting in this room. I like set up all this shit. Like anyone cares what's going on behind me. Like, just because that's just the way it is. Yes. Holy shit. That's a great point, Uzi. So Uzi says he pulled a Boogie Nights on his wife, salesman. That's exactly what happened. That, like, to a T. Fucking William H. Macy. Mwah, what a fucking gem. Stephen Lang in Old Man is worth the price of admission. It's the best he's ever acted. I love the Don't Breathe movies because they make me feel awkward, and the ending of the first one, especially when he's like about to inject her with like the turkey baster filled with semen, dude, like those words just came out of my mouth. You know, like that movie's crazy. But just watch it for Stephen Lang, man. He is amazing in it. Other than that, it's a very long, boring, dialogue-heavy movie. But I do recommend it just because Lucky McKee just can do no wrong. What else you got? Stephen Lang also has another... Dude, VFW is great. Also has like all those heavyweights. What's his name? William Sadler's in it. The dude from Cobra Kai and Karate Kid. Yeah, VFW is great. And also like he's a great, crazy old man in that as well. That movie's just like kind of like a colorful masterpiece, you know? I hate like comparing things to street trash, but like it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like just like the colors and stuff in it. Granted, VFW is more of like a lighting trick than it is like, you know, colorful, like purple blood squirting out of people. But Old Man, I gave a 6.7 out of 10. And I deem, you know, like check it out. It's watchable. Anything like 7 and up to me is like, yo, go watch it. It's awesome. And forget it. If you like reach the 8s or the 9s, like that to me is like, why haven't you watched this yet? All right. Now, let me just take a sip of my soda. All right. Now, what else did I want to talk about? First of all, I already don't remember what I put on the thumbnail. So if I forget to talk about any of that shit, dude, Swimming in Sevens. That's movies lately, man. Most movies suck. Sorry to all you people who get big heads about all new movies. Most of them just kind of suck. It's sad. I love movies, man. Most are just okay at best. I want a movie to knock my socks off. When's the last time a movie knocked your fucking socks off? Well, I'm about to get into one that actually did. All right. Just because I'm tired of talking about movies where I'm like, they're all right. So, I had been like perusing like YouTube and just like seeing like random like reviewers talk about this movie for a while, and I never got a chance to check it out in theaters. I don't know if it just like wasn't playing around me or they're just like the marketing just was not there. I did see a couple people say like it's just like too crazy, too like outlandish, but The next movie I want to talk about that we watched recently that Vicky and I both loved, which, we kind of like have very differing opinions on movies, is Sisu. I got this like silly steelbook thing. I just had to. I love this kitschy bullshit. But one of the first movies I've blind bought in forever. I don't like to blind buy movies anymore because I've been kind of like, I don't know. I've just bought so much bullshit that I'm just like, wow, I'll never watch that again. That is an exception. So like, what Sisu is about is it takes place during World War II. I wanted to see this in the theater, but too much work. Oh yeah, I hear you on that, man. Haven't heard one negative review. Wow. I've seen a couple people that didn't really like it, mainly for the reasons I brought up, that it's just like, it's almost like too over the top. But to me, that works in its favor. That's why I liked it so much. So it's 1944. World War II is kind of like, I guess you say like winding down. So like all the Nazis and the German soldiers have been like pushed into this area of, I think it was Finland. Let me just look it up. Yeah, it's either Finland or Norway. But either way, they're in this small spot. So that's where we meet our protagonist. He is an ex-Finnish soldier from back in the day. Now he lives in Finland. He's just living, on his own terms. He's mining gold in his front yard. And the movie starts out with him finding like a shitload of gold in his front yard. And you're like, damn, okay. So he packs up all his shit, takes his dog, hops on a horse with all his gold, and he is going into town to go and cash in on this gold. Like he hit the mother lode. So along the way, he's running into like some Nazi soldiers, and the first batch just kind of like let him pass and say, don't worry, like he ain't gonna make it far. Like right off the bat, you're like, wow, fuck these Nazi douchebags, like he's not gonna make it. The other Nazis are gonna kill him as he gets further down the road. So he gets further down the road, runs into another batch of these Nazis who aren't as kind. They tell him to get off the horse. They start searching his bags, and they find this shitload of gold. And they're like, oh. So they pull out their guns. They're about to kill him. And that's when we get the reveal that this isn't just some old man, like, cruising to town. He is an almost mythical Finnish soldier who, years past, during a war, his wife and I think his daughter were killed. So he just like went kind of nuts, and his Finnish brethren would send him alone on missions where he would just kill like hundreds and hundreds of Russian soldiers just because of how much of a badass he is. So they are about to kill him, and he just wipes out this like platoon of Nazis. Like I think like the first batch is like 5 of them, but like he blows the dude's brains out like from the bottom, like stabs a guy in it. Yeah, Fambo. Dude, that's a great way to put it. Finnish Rambo. Stabs a dude in his head, and the other Nazis that he passed earlier catch wind of this. They come back, find all their Nazi brothers all dead, and find a little piece of gold, and they're like, we got to get this guy. And, all hell starts to break loose. This guy's just running, trying to cash in this gold. But the movie is amazing. It's like a Finnish John Wick, Finnish Rambo. The whole time, it's just like these Nazis trying to steal this guy's gold, but he just keeps killing them, and he will not die. At one point, like they stumble on a minefield, and he takes a minefield out of the ground and just throws it at the Nazis, and like they just blow up into bits. It's fucking incredible. Like if you like think like the gore, like over the top gore and like effects of like Hobo with a shotgun, it's like that. There's even a point when they're chasing him like through a river, and this guy is just like underneath the water holding his breath, killing the Nazis, and then like breathing their oxygen out of the wounds that he just slit their throats from. It's insane. It's so crazy. But yeah, eventually like the Nazis like get his gold, and then shit's on. He like starts like wiping out the whole platoon. He saves a bunch of like these women that the Nazis had held prisoner, and hands them all a bunch of like AK-47s, and even those women wipe out a bunch of soldiers, and like you as the viewer are like, dude, yes, like this is awesome. And like where I think people have a problem with this movie is that like, how is this guy still alive? Because he gets shot a bunch. They like slice his neck up. He just gets the shit kicked out of him. He even gets hung at one point, but he like hangs on by like a screw, like with his foot that they don't see. But the last remaining Nazi, like I guess he would be like a general or a lieutenant or some shit, is flying in this plane, about to take off from this plane, and like here comes I forget what his name is. It's something ridiculous, but we'll just call him Sisu for the sake of it. Is coming at them like trying to stop the airplane, but he's on a motorcycle. So he whips out this like pickaxe that he has from mining gold, and like he hits the bottom of the plane, and it's 1944, mind you, and it's just holding onto the bottom of this plane from a pickaxe, and just like rips his way through the bottom of the plane, and just like they just start fucking beating the hell out of each other on this plane, and eventually the plane crashes. And spoiler alert, like he lives, like Gold Miner Man lives, you know, kind of like John Wick or Rambo, like they will not die, which is awesome, I guess. And it's the first time you ever hear him talk in the entire movie, is him walking into this bank covered in blood and shit and mud, and just dumps this huge thing of gold, and he's like, cash please. And it's amazing. My main complaint, now I don't have many complaints about this. Yes, exactly. We've all been there, pickaxing a plane to get revenge. Is that I kind of expected this movie, because I knew nothing about it. I tried to avoid trailers just because I'd heard good things. I'm like, I don't want to ruin anything about this. Everyone's saying it's pretty good. I thought it was going to be subtitled, because I'm like, oh, it's like, you know, about German soldiers and shit. No, it's all in English. Even the Nazis speak English. And at first it took me out of the movie a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I was open to reading the subtitles of this movie, but eventually I'm just like, this dude is, you know, stabbing Nazis in the head, throwing landmines at Nazis. I'm like, I don't care that they're speaking English. Like, me as an American viewer, I'm like, you know what? Fine. I don't have to read subtitles. Great. But anyway, if any movie I'm talking about today, I give a recommendation for, it is Sisu. It's split up into chapters, kind of like Quentin Tarantino style. Like it's like chapter 1. So like the way I described it is like a Quentin Tarantino stylized hobo with a shotgun that takes place in 1944. Sorry about like the audio and stuff. My mic is just picking up the craziness going out on our street today. But I gave Sisu an 8.8 out of 10. I haven't rated a movie that high in ages, dude. It is so good, and I can't recommend it enough. And if you can, what the hell? Oh shit. Oh, what up? My friend is watching as well. What's up, Brad? But also, how can you say no to a fucking something like this? Like, just looking at this cover, I'd be like, I have to see this movie. But anyway, so I was gonna talk about the movie Air with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, but like I feel like that's come and gone at this point, and it's just not really. I don't know. I don't want to put it out there. Like, this channel is more about, like, you know, action, kind of out there, kind of horror movies. But I recommend Air. You know, if you're fascinated by, you know, how Nike came to be, it's a great movie. You know, there's no killing or anything in it. It's just about how Nike signed Michael Jordan, and for a drama type movie, I really enjoyed it, and it was fascinating. Well acted, well shot. That's another thing about Sisu. Holy God. The landscapes, I'm not sure if they filmed it in Finland or what, but like they have these amazing, huge landscapes that just like, oh God, it just adds to, it puts you in that moment, and you're just like, God, it's so grand. Oh, sorry, my man. My bad, dude. I have had people commenting, so it's hard for me to keep up. So Uzi asks, I don't think my message was going through, but is Sisu dubbed? I don't think so, dude. I think it is in English, 100%. I actually, when we first started watching it, kind of was like looking at their mouths, trying to see if like it was just dubbed over, but I think it's all English. Because I couldn't notice, I didn't notice anything where it was just like, you're watching a fucking Dario Argento or a Fulci film, and it's just like, hello. All right. So now that I've talked about some of the movies we've watched, let me just real quick make sure there was nothing else I wanted to talk about here. 65. Avoid 65 in case my point didn't go through. La 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 la. Old Man. If you like Lucky McKee and Stephen Lang, definitely check that out. Sisu. Definitely check out Sisu. Okay. So now the main point of this stream. I get a lot of people when new movies are coming out, they'll hit me up and just be like, "Oh, you're the movie guy. Like, what do you think of the new Exorcist movie? What do you think of like the new Saw movie coming out?" And if I'm going to be honest with you, I don't want any more sequels to any of these fucking movies. I think they're great the way they are. Granted, I get kind of excited, like anyone. It's like, I grew up watching Friday the 13th movies. If they made another one, I'm going to be there opening night to go see it, but with trepidation. So a movie like The Exorcist getting another sequel, all the sequels are fucking, excuse my language, fucking terrible. They're bad. Nothing could recreate that, that time. What was it? What even was it? Like 75, 74? I don't even know. But, it's widely considered to be like the scariest movie of all time. Like even watching it now, like it's disturbing. And when you're watching it, you understand why people were so scared of it. And then you get like the sequel and you're like, what is this garbage? Like, it's just awful. And then 3 kind of comes back around, but it's not, it's not in the same vein as the original. It's good because it's like a detective story to me. And there's obviously one of the best jump scares in history with like that nun coming behind the person with like the hedge clippers, and you just hear that. Wah! But every Exorcist movie that's ever come out since the original Exorcist has been bad. They're all trying to recreate this. It's like watching the same scenes over and over again. It's like, ugh. So let's see. Uzi says, I'm an Exorcist 3 boy, an all-timer for me. Yeah, I mean, Exorcist 3 is great. George C. Scott, yeah. Yelling at Brad Dourif as the Gemini killer, yes. See, it's like things like that it kind of separated it from the original Exorcist, which I think a lot of the Exorcist movies, not even in like the Exorcist, franchise, they all like suffer from just trying to do the same thing. Whereas that one's good because it's not the same. It's not like, some girl on the bed possessed trying to, and like some priest coming to get it out of her. So I just keep going on tangents. Why you guys watch, I'll never know, but I appreciate all of you for sticking around. Now, bear with me here. I am going to try to do like a watch along here for the new Exorcist trailer. And let me preface it by saying I had heard this trailer was awful before even seeing it. Like people were like this, like people went to go see Oppenheimer and it plays before Oppenheimer, which by the way, like, yo, I didn't go see Barbie. I didn't go see Oppenheimer. At this point, so many people are talking about it. I'm like, I'm not going to see these movies until they're free because like, blah. All right. But I'm sure Oppenheimer and Barbie are fantastic and fine. Like those just aren't really my type of movies. Oppenheimer probably more so than Barbie, my type of movie, but I just don't care that much. All right. Now Exorcist, which is more my speed. Let's see. Okay. So I'm learning here. This is coming from Blumhouse and David Gordon Green, who have done all the new Halloween movies, which you know, like him or not. It's just, why are they giving this man a trilogy of new Exorcist movies? A trilogy. Like, if this movie does terrible, what are they going to do? Like, because it's probably going to end on like a bit of a cliffhanger, and knowing that there's going to be 2 more movies after this, bro, none of the Exorcist sequels have been good. But like I was saying, people said this looked terrible. I am under the impression it's going to be fine. Like, it's not going to knock my socks off, just like every other damn movie that comes out these days. But I think the trailer kind of made it look better than I thought it would be. But so let me try this here. So I'm going to share the screen and we are going to watch along. Also, if anyone from Universal is watching right now, don't take this video down. Like, I don't make money from YouTube. I do this because I'm fucking bored. So Universal Pictures, do not take this down. I'm essentially giving you free promotion for a movie that's probably going to suck anyway. All right. So here we go. I am sharing my screen, right? Here we go. Add to stream. All right. Hey, it worked. Hey, guys, it's me over here. Hi. So